Taurus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for June 6th to the 12th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. So Taurus, this week we have the cultivation of this new moon, which happened in your first house of Taurus last weekend. And this was the Grand Cross new moon, which is a good time to be challenging ourselves. To cultivate here, in this sense, your independence. You know, the first house is all about you, your independence, perhaps your goals in life. On some level, you could even call them your aspirations, things you want to achieve. And this is both in the short term of this lunar cycle, but also in the next year for you, because it is this new beginning, you know, every year with your sun and your sign. And happy birthday for those of you who have your sun sign birthdays this week. But all of you do have this awareness on self, and I think this is a good area of attention this week in terms of where you can challenge yourself to cultivate who you are. And through those experiences, through getting out there, through putting yourself out there basically in that independent way, you could be learning a lot about yourself. In fact, I think it's a great time for self-awareness, self-examination, and these kinds of matters. So this is from the previous weekend, but this week we do have a lot of aspects, so I'm going to go through them one by one rather briefly. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I'll be more than happy to go into more specifics if you'd like. But let's start with Monday. Monday, the sun and your ruler Venus conjoin, okay, in your first house. So there's definitely this continued awareness about you. And I think that could be particularly on Monday, a new understanding about you. There's a lot of focus on you too. So you want to make sure that there's a balance here, okay? Because sometimes with Venus combust behind the sun, that sun can just take the energy. So there could just be the self-expression. There could just be the focus and the energy and all this. But we want to bring extra attention to the self so that everything is nice and balanced. All right, this could be with your self-awareness. I would say probably your self-awareness most importantly, but also your goals and anything else that you're cultivating. So they're nice and, you know, harmonious in your life. They're not just running amok with that sun energy. So it could also be with your routine. There could be a new insight about your daily activities, maybe about your work. Okay, and these kinds of passionate things. But in your daily activities, also bring in the extra attention there as well. So that's Monday. And then as we go into Tuesday, there is this energy with the North Node. There's this new, continued cultivation with your family or health. Okay, or it could be multiple, more than just each of those things. It could be for some of you home and health. It could even have to do with your past. Maybe a lot of reflection energy. This is the fact that this year, the North Node has been shifting into your fourth house of your roots in life. And so it's making it this year and really the next couple of years this important time for you to be cultivating your roots, your foundations, which again might have to do with your home location, might have to do with family. Some of you are starting new families, and even your health. Okay, and there's a lot to learn about all that with Jupiter here, and a lot of opportunities to cultivate those things. But here I think integrating it, because again, this is a week of challenging ourselves. Here, challenging you with being the, this more independent sort of energy and your goals, but challenging yourself this week in regards to where you can take these actions towards cultivating your roots and emotional life and your personal life. And one thing I want to say too is Mercury is actually shifting out of your 12th house, and he's been there up until this Monday, Monday of this week basically. So there was a lot of this behind the scenes energy, a lot more of this rest and relaxation or needing that spiritual time out or whatever. So this week's definitely different in that now Mercury's also in the first house. There's a lot of forward moving energy for you guys compared to these previous weeks, I feel like. All right, so that's the North Node. I think it's just a great week to just learn more, just be open to learning more about personal life and roots and home and family, all that stuff. Could be very powerful because Pluto is trining up to the North Node this week. Maybe there's some changes you can make, some positive changes there. Then as we go into Wednesday, Mercury will sextile Chiron. Mars will begin to trine Chiron. So there is healing taking place this week, and I think it can come across as quite easy. I think what could be healing, or at least there's an opening for it, is maybe your view of your values, maybe on the material side of things, maybe in regards to your self-expression. Okay, I think these are good areas to cultivate here this middle part of the week. You can find that healing. The other area, and you'll probably feel this more as the second half of the week unfolds, is the healing have to do with your relationships. Right, Chiron trining up to the ruler of your 7th house of relationships, healing in regards to maybe getting some of this more easier going energy in your life, in your routine perhaps. because you guys are learning a lot about your routine. You're learning a lot about your work at the moment with Mars retrograde in the 6th. You know what really motivates you in work? What really motivates you in the day-to-day level? All right, so still great things to reflect on, but that can be very rejuvenating, particularly over the weekend. All right, so that's starting there on Wednesday, and then as we go into Thursday, Mercury does oppose up to Mars, so there is an importance of balance here this week. Nothing new because the Sun and Venus has already gone over this position, but particularly with the mind and the communications. All right, keeping everything nice and balanced because there's a lot of this attention on self, right? But Mars being your 7th house ruler and still close to your 7th house cusp for a lot of you, there's this importance of having this balance, so it's not all just about self. Bringing attention to your relationships, working on relationships, because again, it's all reflective. You're learning about them, and that keeps everything nice and grounded in that regard. The other thing, too, is Mercury, again, also being your 2nd and your 5th house ruler, is especially around Thursday, just kind of having balance when it comes to the financial material stuff, and also when it comes to your self-expression. Okay, and by balance, it's really just not going to any extreme of not only the self, but we don't want to get too mental with it. We also don't want to get just too, like direct about it. Like Mars in your 6th house is a lot of this energy still, and you cultivating your work and your routine and all this. But we want to have this balance of healthy mind, awareness of mind, healthy routine, awareness of routine. Okay, and I think also in regards to those other areas I mentioned, bring extra attention there. Then as we go into the weekend, we do have the final aspect of the week, which will be Venus sextiling up to Uranus on Sunday. And so there's this opening, and I think this is all part of these new beginnings with your values and what you value about yourself even. And here, maybe it's a good weekend for mixing things up. Maybe for some of you, connecting with friends, maybe doing some online things, some community things, or maybe just reflecting on your aspirations in life can be very freeing. There could be this new spontaneous kind of energy over the weekend freeing you up because it's your ruler. It's an important aspect here. Maybe even freeing up your work as well. So thinking about the routine, thinking about where you can cultivate these new beginnings this whole week, and I think over the weekend maybe something new shifting in terms of lightening it up a bit. All right, also I want to mention too that Saturn is squaring up to Neptune going into next week. They're going to go exact for the last and final time here in mid-June. So this is about still this week, and as a backdrop, taking the relationship stuff seriously, just being grounded, being patient with this area, doing the right thing, the responsible thing, okay? And with these uncertainties that might be unfolding about your career or your work, your productive life, remembering that this area is unfolding in divine timing. We don't exactly know how this is unfolding for you, all right? The big picture stuff. So working on presence, I think patience with relationships and presence with your work, I think can be great to work with this week. All right, Taurus, so have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.